Hello everybody, Devilmont here, and this is actually a very serious issue I want to talk about. Recently, a lot of people have been complaining about copyright use and false copyright claims by other companies, such as a lot of people are blaming a company called Studio 71. This is not true. It is Studio_2_1. That is the company that is false flagging various content, including an original song, as well as many other copyright claims that have been completely false. And a lot of people are trying to organize, a lot of content creators are getting furious at the fact that YouTube has created this infrastructure where these companies can claim false copyrights to something they don't own. But here is the major issue. Everyone's blaming Studio 71. They're going, oh, well, it's a subsidy company of a German mass media, and, it's a way to ensure that the rich get richer and the poor creative people, the poor creators, are having trouble with copyright issues and when it comes to fair use. So a lot of people are trying to organize some sort of class action lawsuit against Studio_2_1. That's the name of the company. Studio 71 is the subsidy of a larger German company, and that one's based off in Beverly Hills, while Studio_2_1, good luck trying to find, any tidbit of information that's actually worth anything on the internet. Good luck trying to find it, because only thing I can find out is that they're right by the Mexican-Texas border. But here's the problem. They're not the only company doing this. For those of you that are big fans of my game reviews that I used to do, I'm not able to really do them anymore because of copyright issues. I had a whole Doom series where it was just a playthrough with my reactions and how much I loved that game as an original fan of the original Doom. I had this huge playthrough. It was a great game. I loved it. I had a lot of fun with it. I still do every now and then when my PlayStation decides to work. But that's the videos that I had saved up, which was a lot. It was going to be a huge series. I had 29, full episodes in. Everything was lined up, ready to go. And then copyright strikes by a third-party company that was based in Australia that has nothing to do with id Software or any other creators. It had nothing to do with them. I looked up the company itself, and the company itself is very similar to Studio 71_2_1. Very little information, false flagging, if you will. But I decided not to upload it because I figured it's 29 episodes. I had to, I was going to be in for a brawl. I was going to be in for a legal battle that I'm not prepared to do at this time against them. But herein lays the problem with doing a class action lawsuit against this one company. It's like a hydra, man. It's a hydra. You cut one head off and two will grow in its place. This is going to be a huge problem, because they're going to be false flagging every single popular tag. They're going to go by tags and false flag every single person that has any bit of what they think is their copyright, which of course is going to be everything, or even if it has no relation, they're still going to false flag it just to at least prevent you from getting money, or trying to basically take your money without doing anything, even though they particularly don't own the copyright. Now, you may say poo-poo on YouTube for creating this infrastructure that allows them to do this, but here's a solution. Yes, I have a solution for it. Now, when it comes to the whole fair use copyright laws, it's different in every country. This is what makes it such a pain in the neck. Fair use is not international. It does not span globally. There are some countries that do not allow for fair use. They don't allow commentary. They don't allow reviews unless they themselves have reviewed it first. In other words, only positive reviews are going to be the only thing that's going to be able to pass by. And that's how it's done in many nations. Many countries do this. They prevent people from being negative about anything that comes out at all. You can't always use fair use when it comes to, let's say, video games or, even movies. Anything where a company in another country has done, if you show a part that they worked on, they could very easily say, we don't have a fair use law in this country. You can't do that. And you get a copyright strike. So this is how to fix that infrastructure. Google is the company that owns YouTube. So what Google should do is hire people that are extremely well versed when it comes to international copyright laws, as well as fair use claims, what countries have it, what countries don't have it, what are the guidelines and the rules, and they need to just put that on YouTube. They need to put that into some policies, some questionnaires that people may ask before they release their video. And if someone is false flagging a content that someone created, if the creator can prove that it is false flagging, that they don't own the copyright to it, and that they have permission to use it, or if it is under the fair use laws in case it's a national issue. Like, say a company in New York says, oh, you're criticizing our video game or whatever, we're gonna we're gonna flag you for copyright issues. This way, this gives the creator, and if the creator can prove that what they're doing is under Fair Use Act as decided by this tribunal that Google will create, full of a tribunal of people, possibly like maybe 7 people, just an odd number, and have one chairman or chairwoman, and have them be the tiebreaker in case it decides. That way you can take your case to court, to a Google court, if you will. Like, to submit all your evidence saying that you have fair use laws, get it all printed out, get all the copyright strikes printed out on paper, and then just go through it through the formal ways, through their median. And if it's decided that you're in favor, that company gets a strike for false flagging. 3 strikes on false flagging, you cannot false flag anymore. If it's proven to this tribunal that you are false flagging 3 times, you're out. You cannot flag anybody else for content. That right gets taken away from you because you abused the privilege. That would be a way that would tell other companies like this 72_2_1 or whatever they're going to call themselves. That would tell companies like that, hey, you can't be copyright trolls and try to strike everybody down because of some content issue that you either think you have control over, or that you think you own, or you don't even own it, and you're just being a huge feminine hygiene product. That way, these companies will have to pick and choose and actually look into whether or not they own the copyright, rather than just false flagging for the sake of flagging it. And this gives the creators some leverage. This gives the creators a fighting chance to prove their case. Because if a creator is so heartfelt about the content that they do, they'd be willing to go, or at least maybe even a video, a video conference would work. A video conference with the Google Tribunal, call it the Copyright Tribunal, if you will. The Copyright Court, there we go, call it that. If you're willing to do like a simultaneous webcam thing with them, submit all your evidence to email it to them. They look at the evidence and they could decide whether or not content is under fair use or whether it's not. That way creators can fight back. But unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, well, these guys are just going to be in big corporations' pockets. They're going to give them money. Well, here's a solution to stop that. You need someone that is not going to be corrupted. And what corrupts people? Money. Money can corrupt them. If Google happens to pay this person for their position rather handsomely, they may not be so inclined to take whatever little tidbits. And plus, if a company's going to pay off a tribunal, it's going to cost a lot of money for a little bit of money that they would get from the YouTube revenue. So for a big company, it's not really worth it to pay them off. It won't be worth it to bribe them. And second, all that stuff's traceable by Google, by the way. Google can find out where your web searches are going. Google will be able to find out, because you would have to contact them through the Google website, including giving them money, unless you're going to go straight to their office and give them money. If you're caught doing that, that's fraud. Go to jail. I don't think any member of the tribunal is going to risk jail time for a company to say whether or not they have content or not. That makes the court incorruptible. An incorruptible court plus sufficient evidence to prove your case, bada bing, bada boom, baby, is done. That ends the false flagging. That ends the false copyright claims. That solves everything. That would solve the problem. I don't think Google's going to do that, but I hope they do, or do something similar to it. Because as it is right now, these copyright trolls are making money out of other people's hard work. They've even copyrighted things that they have no right to whatsoever, including other people's original songs that they just came up with at the top of their head. They'll say, oh, we own the copyright to that. Why? Because we do. Do you have any evidence of it? No. Then the court would shut them down. You get 3 false copyright claims on you, to the point where you're doing the stupid troll thing where you're like, oh, copyright, copyright, copyright. You're doing that. You get caught with that 3 times. You can't do it anymore. That means someone will be able to literally use your content, but because you abuse the system, you don't get a right to fight back. Because you abused the system. Studio 71_2_1. I mean, even for my Uncharted 4: A Thief's End review, I wanted to show a particular part of the game, very early in the game, by the way, before you even really start, where you play the old school PlayStation 1 of my favorite games of all time, Crash Bandicoot. You play one level of it. I wanted to show that level. I wanted to show it off during the review, to show that it's there. And I got copyrighted claim by an Australian company that has nothing to do with Naughty Dog or anybody that made it. They have nothing to do with it. And I decided, you know what, I'm not going to fight them on it. I'm just going to take that part out, but I'm going to leave enough of it to know that people could realize that it's there. Not that you can't look for it and find somebody else using it, which that I don't understand. If you're going to copyright somebody, let other ones do it? Okay. That makes sense, right? But this is, this false flagging copyright information, this is just a poison. It's making people scared to put up their content. It's forcing creators to not upload something out of just pure fear. It's a fear tactic that is so far proven to be successful for some people, that they don't want to upload their videos because of this. This is completely the exact opposite of what YouTube wants. YouTube wants you to upload videos. They want you to have fun on the camera. They want you to, to make content that's worth it. This is not going to bode well. And people think, well, if YouTube had competition, this wouldn't be an issue. Well, guess what? If YouTube did have competition, or I should say competition at their level, they'd have the same problem. Because these companies like Studio 71_2_1, they'll just go there and do it. That's why you need this court. I think this copyright court issue could be a huge thing. It could give the creators a fighting chance. Creators such as myself, creators like Angry Joe, Mathis, Jack Skeptic Guy, Markiplier, PewDiePie even. They'd be able to have a fighting chance. And that's something that the creators need. They need a tool. They need, not a tool, they need a helping hand. They need at least something that they can grab that ledge on and fight for their right to release their content. That's how you fix the copyright issue. But for everyone that's saying, oh, well, fair use, fair use, fair use. Again, I repeat this phrase, fair use is not an international issue. So if you want to do fair use on commentary of a movie that has some parts filmed in Canada, some parts filmed in New Zealand, some parts filmed in Mexico, some parts filmed in wherever, you got to look at the copyrights for the fair use, if there's a fair use law in each and every one of those countries that you're going to be airing that particular part in. If they don't have a fair use law, you don't use it. It's as simple as that. People think, oh, what about, old school critics such as Siskel and Ebert back in the day? Siskel and Ebert were paid by the companies, by the production companies, to review their product, to critique it. That's where they got their money, was from movie companies. Because back in those days, if Siskel and Ebert gave a movie 2 thumbs up, that meant that movie was good, and those movies usually were very successful. If they give a movie 2 thumbs down, that movie pretty much tanked. And it's just 2 people's opinion. But they got paid by the production companies to risk that chance. Because production companies used to believe in their work that much that they're willing to put it up against a couple of guys to see if the guys approve of it. That's how film critics made their money. YouTube doesn't work like that. We don't get paid by movie companies to review it. We don't get paid by that. That's not how YouTube works. YouTube works through advertising revenue. And the advertisers don't care whether you're reviewing a movie, a game, or if you're just doing what I'm doing right now. They just want to be able to air their commercials. That's it. Only thing they really care about is whether or not their content's appropriate for the video. And that's important to some creators too. Like, for me, instance, I don't allow gambling, I don't allow gambling commercials on my YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel, it's not geared towards children, but children can watch it. And, I figured that's a little gray area. That's something that the kids aren't going to really, be too appealed to go to. That's not going to interest them. So I figured, you know what? Don't air it. People say, oh, well, that's stupid. You could just go ahead and click allow and then they'll be able to do it. Why? What's the point? It's not like there's that many, watching YouTube, how many times do you see a car commercial as compared to how many times you see a commercial for a casino? I see more car commercials than anything else, really. And a car commercial can appeal to children. Man, I've gone off on a huge rant. But that's just because this whole copyright issue can really wind people out. It can make you tired because you may not want to fight this. And that's my perspective on a lot of copyright issues. If my copyrights get flagged, to me, unlike other YouTubers, I don't rely on this as my sole source of income, because if I did, I'd be broke. My current subscriber count is at, let me check. Okay. My current subscriber count is at 10. 10. 10. So it's not like I'm raking in the big bucks. As a matter of fact, well, I'm not going to discuss that because that's a whole completely different thing. A lot of people are confused about how YouTube pays anyway, and you don't really see a whole lot of videos going into detail about it. I'm going to keep it like that. Matter of fact, I'm probably just going to cut this particular part out, the last 20 seconds or so. Probably not, actually, because this is a big rant. I'm going off on different subjects here. Getting back on track. The copyright court seems to be, in my opinion, the best idea. If you got another idea, please say so in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. It's pretty important to let your voice be heard. But one thing that I gotta say over and over again, that I gotta kind of hammer: do not go after, do not troll, do not charge at Studio 71. They have not copyrighted claimed much that I know of. It's Studio _ that's that little underline with nothing on top of it. That's called an underscore, I think. _2 _1. It's a different company. Going after Studio 71 isn't going to help. If anything, that's going to tick them off, and it's going to make them start doing copyright strikes on their own. And keep in mind, they're sub-affiliated. They were subsidized by a larger German company, which, guess what? Fair use may not work in Germany. It may not work the same as it does in America. And furthermore, Studio 71 has done work for NBC Universal, YouTube, Vine, Snapchat, and Facebook, and several other companies. So they got a lot of legitimate copyrights out there. I'm not sure if you want to try picking on them, because I don't know what they have, and not that many people do. You may not know what kind of copyrights they legitimately have, and if you poke the bear may fight back. So what I would do is I would implore, as a matter of fact, I want everybody listening to try to implore Google through emails, through suggestions of adding a copyright court, a tribunal of 7 courts individuals that can, or 6 in one head, 1 chairman or chairwoman, 1 chairperson, and have them just very strongly, very acutely rehearse the copyright issues inside of their head, what copyright laws are, international copyright laws, as well as the fair use law and how it portrays to other countries. Get all of that down, have it all memorized. That way they can come up with a decision relatively quickly, and they should be the ones to decide. Well, this has gone on a lot longer than I thought. This is Devilmont here saying goodbye, take care of each other, farewell, bye.